30 days ago, I split every single dollar I earned into 3 buckets, using a rule that finance experts have been recommending for over a decade, the 50 or 30 or 20 rule. 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% savings. I wanted to know if it actually works in real life, with a real paycheck, real bills, and real temptation to break it. So I tracked every dollar for 30 days straight. What I found surprised me, and by day 12, I almost quit. Quick refresher in case you've never heard of it. The 50, 30, or 20 rule says you take your after-tax income and divide it 3 ways. 50% goes to needs, rent, groceries, utilities, minimum debt payments. 30% goes to wants, eating out, entertainment, hobbies, the fun stuff. And 20% goes straight to savings or extra debt payoff. It sounds simple on paper. The question is whether it survives contact with an actual, messy, real-life paycheck. Here's how I set it up. I took my actual monthly take-home pay, ran the math, and wrote the 3 numbers on a sticky note on my fridge. Yes, an actual sticky note. Because I wanted to see these numbers every single day, not buried in an app I'd forget to open. Then I opened a separate savings account for the 20%, so that money would be physically out of reach the moment my paycheck landed. No willpower required, just structure. The easy part. Week 1 felt almost too easy. Rent, groceries, and bills fit neatly into the 50% needs category, with a little room to spare. The 20% moved automatically into savings the day I got paid, and honestly, I barely noticed it was gone. I remember thinking, okay, this rule is overhyped. This is simple. I was wrong, and week 2 was about to prove it. Week 2, wants category cracks. By week 2, the 30% wants category started cracking. A coworker's birthday dinner. A last-minute concert ticket a friend talked me into. A coffee habit that, when I actually added it up, was costing me almost $60 a month, money I had completely failed to account for. None of these felt like big decisions in the moment. Each one felt small and harmless. But by day 14, I had already blown through my entire month's wants budget, with 16 days still left to go. The temptation to break the rule. This is the part nobody talks about when they recommend budgeting rules. Once the wants money is gone, you face a choice every single day for the rest of the month. Stop spending entirely, or quietly borrow from another category and tell yourself you'll make it up later. I felt that pull constantly. It would have been so easy to just dip into the needs category, or worse, skip a contribution to savings just one time. That one time is exactly how most budgets quietly die. Week 3, the fix. So in week 3, I made one change that saved the entire experiment. Instead of treating the categories as rigid walls, I gave myself one rule. If I overspend in wants, the deficit comes out of next week's wants allowance. Never out of savings, ever. Savings became completely off limits, no exceptions, no negotiating with myself. The moment I made savings untouchable instead of flexible, everything else got easier, because there was only one rule to defend instead of 3. Week 3 continued. Small leaks found. Tracking every dollar for 3 weeks straight also exposed something I never would have caught otherwise. Small recurring subscriptions I had genuinely forgotten about. A streaming service I hadn't opened in 4 months. An app subscription that auto-renewed annually, so I never even saw the charge hit my account month to month. Combined, these forgotten subscriptions were quietly draining about $40 a month, over $400 a year, for things I wasn't even using. Week 4, the groove. By week 4, something shifted. The daily decisions that felt exhausting in week 2 had become almost automatic. I wasn't agonizing over every purchase anymore. I just knew, almost instinctively, whether something fit inside the lines I'd drawn. That's the part budgeting advice rarely mentions. The first few weeks are mentally expensive, but the structure does the heavy lifting for you eventually. The same way learning to drive feels overwhelming at first and then becomes second nature. So here's exactly what happened over the full 30 days. My needs category landed almost exactly at 50%, with very little drift. Bills don't lie. My wants category technically went over in week 2, but balanced out by month's end once I applied the borrow from next week rule. And my savings category, the 20% I made untouchable, hit its target 100% of the time, every single week, without exception. That's the headline result. The category I protected the most was the only one that never failed. Here's something interesting researchers have found about budgeting in general, not just this specific rule. Studies on financial behavior consistently show that people who write down or track their spending, in any format, even something as simple as a sticky note, spend meaningfully less than people who only track mentally, simply because the act of writing it down forces a moment of conscious awareness before the money leaves your account. There's a second finding that surprised me even more. Research on automatic savings programs shows that when money is moved into savings before a person ever sees it land in their checking account, save rates rise dramatically compared to manual transfers, even when the percentage is identical. The money is the same. The order of operations is what changes behavior. What I'd change next time. If I did this again, there are 2 things I'd change immediately. First, I'd build in a small buffer category, maybe 5%, for the irregular expenses that don't show up every month, like a car repair or gift, because forcing every irregular expense into once is what caused most of the stress in week 2. Second, I'd track subscriptions before starting the challenge, not during it, since finding the mid-month was a surprise I could have avoided with 15 minutes of prep. Here's the bigger lesson buried inside this whole experiment. The 50 or 30 or 20 rule isn't really about the exact percentages. 50, 30, and 20 are just round, memorable numbers. The real value of the rule is that it forces you to make exactly one decision in advance, instead of 100 small decisions in the moment. Every time you decide something before you're standing in the moment of temptation, you win. Every time you wait until you're standing in front of the temptation to decide, you lose more often than you'd like to admit. That's not a budgeting trick. That's just how human decision-making works, in every area of life, not just money. If you've ever felt like budgeting is something other people are just naturally good at, and you're not, I want you to know that week 2 of this experiment nearly broke me, and I do this for a living. The rule didn't work because I was disciplined. It worked because I built a structure that didn't require me to be disciplined every single day. That's the real shift. You don't need more willpower. You need a better system standing between you and the moment of temptation. If you want to try this yourself, I'd actually recommend starting with the 2-account system I built to make this whole experiment foolproof. It's in another video on this channel, and it removes almost all the willpower problems I just walked you through. Subscribe if you want more honest, real numbers breakdowns like this one every week, and I'll see you in the next video.